We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Detective Comics 1035. This issue was written by Mariko Tamaki, art and cover by Dan Mora. Jordie Bellaire did the colors, Aditya Bidikar letters, associate editor Dave Walgos, Paul Kaminsky editor, Ben Abernathy group editor. So Batman's trying to figure out who kidnapped this woman who's one of his neighbors, and he quickly figures out where the body is, but the cops show up and immediately start shooting at him, and somebody takes a shot back at the cops, but it's not a real threat because the casing is still on the bullet. So somebody just threw this apparently because artists don't understand how firearms work and couldn't be bothered to look it up and do 2 minutes of research. So Batman escapes, and the father of young Miss Worth, whose name is Mr. Worth, is vowing vengeance. Meanwhile, Sarah's partner Sam seems to know more than he's letting on, and the mayor wants to pursue getting rid of vigilantes. But thankfully the Huntress is there to complicate things even more. The Huntress isn't done though. We got the backup story with the Huntress called Mary Knox. It's written by Mariko Tamaki, Clayton Henry, artist, Jordie Bellaire, colors, Aditya Bidikar, letters, Dave Walgos, associate editor, Paul Kaminsky, editor. In this story, the Huntress made a little friend, and the friend's name was Mary Knox, and she walks her kitty cat on a leash, and she almost got mugged the one time and won't give up her phone because phones are expensive, and then just lots of talking, and then they become frenzies, but then Frenzy gets murdered, and then Huntress has to solve it and adopt the kitty cat because kitty cats are important. I'm surprised they didn't eat and drink coffee in this because it was that boring and rambly. Both stories had way too much talking. At least the first one was slightly more interesting than the previous issue. Batman looked good in a lot of shots, but the faces on some of the non-costume characters look ridiculous and over-exaggerated. Again, it's a very manga-influenced book, and the look that Dan Mora usually goes for is very heavily manga-influenced. I don't hate it. Batman usually looks cool, so there's that, but I don't love it either. So it's functional. I didn't hate it. The story's tepid, but not bad. It's very mediocre. The backup story with the Huntress was incredibly boring and stupid, and I hated it. Hated everything about it. These backups are dumb. They're pointless. The art was okay, except people's necks are a little long. I think the artist needs to work on that. Otherwise, the art was fine in that one too. The cover I thought was over-exaggerated. The guy looks like a giant attacking Batman, and he's just supposed to be a big guy, but it's, again, manga influence where everything has to be disproportionate and weird looking. And if you look at the back arm where he's drawing back to punch at Batman, it looks like a tiny little arm. It's not correct from the perspective. It just looks tiny, and that's silly looking. So I'd say if you want to read this, pick it up out of a bargain bin. The backup story's garbage. The main story is way too wordy and needs an editor to actually do their job, which DC doesn't really do that. So I guess we're stuck with that. But I just wasn't real impressed with these. But if you pick it up, get it out of a bargain bin. I won't bother tracking them down. They're not that memorable yet, and honestly buying a trade paperback would probably be a giant waste of money. So if you're gonna get it out of a dollar bin. That's about the only thing I could say that'd be worth it, is to look at the art. That's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.